we'll see how they're able to pull it off. But I'm pretty excited for this match coming up. Except for the fact that it looks on paper, we look and we see an Alkin and Naga on TNC, and we're like, ew, because these two heroes sometimes just bring bad taste to the mouth. But they've been changed up, and it's of course the support Naga, so it is a different kind of utilization.
Yeah. And during the draft, I believe it was when the Terrorblade was picked up, you didn't seem too keen on that pick?
Oh no, I like the Terrorblade.
You like the Terrorblade?
The Razor, when it comes up, when you don't have a direct counter against it, when you pick it like that, it's like that flex pick. So they were picking it just to dissuade LFY from picking the DK for Super. Just to have, hey, we have a Razor, and then they switch it. They don't actually put the Razor in the mid lane, they put it in the safe lane. So they had that little bit of mind game going for them, which is great. And right off the bat, they actually find themselves a D-ward. They're already expecting, they understand how LFY likes to play. They know that they want to block the pull camp, they want to put a lot of pressure onto the enemy safe lane, and just constantly run at that. So if they at least are able to alleviate that they can pull, it's extremely important for them to be able to get that experience and maximize. We do see a smoke actually coming out from TNC.
We'll see if they get any traction with it. Looks like the line's to be drawn to head all the way down bottom and look to invade LFY's jungle.
They're doing aggro, like Peter was mentioning. They want to have the Sand King versus Nature's Prophet matchup. And it can actually shut down the Terrorblade quite decently. And it's probably pretty unexpected. They scouted out the tri-lane top and then the smoke happens. So it's TNC trying to get that unexpected lane favoring.
And is this a lane favoring that's good enough for TNC that LFY may then react to it and switch their lanes back up so they don't find themselves in these, as you say, unfavorable lane matchups?
Yeah, probably. It depends on how much they can get the pulls off. That's the one thing, is that LFY does have both pulls open if they do want to be able to do that and be able to keep the lane back. They just have to not get killed level 1 and then not get steamrolled, because if the Terrorblade gets shut down super hard, they have a very weird way of getting back into the game of actually pushing and sieging. Nature's Prophet can have a pretty good time, but he's versus Sand King, which is an okay matchup as long as Sand King.
Looks like Raven got a pretty solid lockdown on this bottom lane, which is it's going to mean that Monet's rather far forward. They look to lead in with the Static Link. Do they have the control with the slow from 1437? This is looking pretty good. DDC is there. He's yet to skill. Will save the point for the Shadow Grave. Very smartly done there by DDC. Waits until the last possible moment before knowing which skill is required and will save the Terrorblade's life.
So Apple right away does make the move down bottom, and they start already stacking the pole. They know what they need to accomplish in this lane. They need to out-resource them. And once they get a couple levels on their heroes, they're actually extremely strong, especially if this Jakiro gets out of position. He's very slow, 290 movement speed. It's all up to Tim's pretty much just standing in the front line and zoning them. So if they can, also the thing is that they're low on regen is the problem for LFY, but they do have a Dazzle. So as long as they're able to conserve their regen, they can match up decently versus TNC. But TNC does have a lot of regen between their heroes.
Looking for Tim's here, DDC, keeping him at bay, Monet and Arthur, as you say, in the neighborhood. The thing is you're mentioning, these two side lanes definitely seem to have strengths for TNC, but this mid lane, if Cuckoo doesn't get any help, this could become a bit tricky, couldn't it, for him in this 1v1 against the Puck?
Definitely. Puck is able to heavily harass his bottom.
That thought, though, because bottom lane, DDC's gone on by TNC, and they'll pick up the first blood just like that.
As soon as
Monet unable to do anything.
Tim's gets level 2, the net comes out. Easy grab on anybody who's on the side. That's the important thing when you're playing versus these tri versus tri lanes. You have to watch your positioning of staying in the lane. If you're going to do pulls, that's okay as long as you have somebody kind of guarding you for the pull. But for the most part, you can't get caught on the side there because it's just pretty easy picks.
And see as well, this mid lane CS looking very good at the moment.
Super.
He is going to jump forward for this, puts the point into the Waning Rift. It's not going to be quite enough burst. In fact,
the acid spray.
Turn around, man, it up and Super! Oh no! Oh no, Super! Maybe should have stuck to playing Dragon Knight, but that is not how you want to start that mid lane matchup.
There's a TP coming in from
They're going to try to find something in return, indeed. They are looking for Cuckoo. He has got that poor man's shield. We'll see if it's going to be enough. He does need the proc.
The courier's coming. We've got a salve on it. Salve's up.
He's going to keep himself alive. Goes for the deny. Cuckoo is loving the mid lane. He is smiling all over. And in fact, bottom lane, some positive action as well for TNC. They're moving in onto Monet. Does have the backup from DDC. That will be enough to hold TNC back. TNC here off to quite a start, making a big impact here on the main stage.
One thing is, though, he does get the salve delivered, he uses it, though, and then dies. And dying to Ancients, dying to Neutrals, you're dead for 24 seconds as a mid laner. That's actually pretty devastating, because now Super pulls way ahead in the last hits and is actually acquiring more net worth. So you don't want to give the kill, but at the same time, it hurts a lot to die to Neutrals like that this early on as a mid laner. He's back now, though, and going to continue that acid spray spam.
Absolutely, yeah, this is the thing. Yeah, Super CS still off the charts. You know, he's farming like an absolute beast. 21-11. So despite that death, Super definitely still maintaining the lead here in this mid matchup.
Afu probably wants to get a couple more levels before he makes that move. It's also going to be nighttime soon. I think he wants ideally level 3 so he can decide if he can save a point in Crippling Fear. Can be very useful to kill the Sand King and the Alchemist early on. And they're actually just switching lanes. They decide this aggro Trident is too much. They need the Terrorblade to have something and put him top. Not the greatest matchup though versus a Sand King who's already level 4. But there's no Caustic actually skilled on Sam H, which is a bit surprising versus the Nature's Prophet Treants. But Inflame is one of the best at playing Nature's Prophet in the laning phase, so it can be understood why he was dissuaded from doing that. Cuckoo now, just goes to the jungle. It's too much threat. Once Puck gets like level 4 or 5, there's too much damage coming out and too much threat of the Nature's Prophet TPing behind you. So he just has to resort to that.
This bottom lane, Inflame does have the phase boost, giving Raven quite a bit of a punch. Arfu looking for the chase down. Raven quick to cut himself out of the Sprout. Will be fine now. The reaction from TNC, 1437's there, as well as Tim's from the Invis. Jumps forward with the Ring turn, with the Static Link. And TNC, they're looking for Arfu. There's no DDC in the neighborhood, so there's no save for the Night Stalker. And a third kill is picked up by TNC.
Very strong aggro tri-lane. So much slow and control, and the damage comes all from that Razor, who already has phase boots. So they have the chase as well now. And this is where Afu maybe wants to make moves elsewhere. Actually smokes up, starting to commit maybe toward that mid lane, it looks like. He puts a ward to watch the movements of where the Naga's going.
Cuckoo's very low.
Very susceptible to death here. The
Only one coming out, but they can certainly look to die for this, and indeed they will. He has the infused raindrop. It's not enough to save him. LFY.
They TP
opportunity.
For the
they may just get this as well. Are going to look to try and juke it across the tree line, but Arfu with the flying vision gives it to Super. So Super has that vision to make the connection.
Damn, I didn't think that they were actually going to commit so hard for the courier, but with the Hunter in the Night, making it so much easier to be able to see it, even though it is sprinted up.
Still, definitely the biggest issue for LFY being that Monet's start has not been great at all because of this aggression from TNC. Still lacking behind in CS. Levels as well. They're not quite there.
Top, though.
And now they're looking for a fight. Yeah, with the Metamorphosis and the Poison Touch connecting, they'll go in, they'll take one. Sam H tries to hold them back with the Burrow Strike and the Sandstorm. Not enough to get a kill in return, but we'll push them back. But still, this is perfect. You know, LFY, they need to find Monet involved in as much action as they can to kind of bring him back from this very, very slow early 5 minutes from LFY.
It's a catapult wave right now, too. Bottom lane, Inflame, getting committed on. Should be just fine. Able to TP out after the net. So catapult waves coming in. Metamorphosis was used, but Sam H is able to just Sandstorm and push out top. Bottom lane, maybe TNC is able to put some tower pressure here, which could be very nice for them being able to. Both teams, they want to be able to get those early tier 1s to get the access points into jungle versus this Alchemist and Terrorblade. Those invasions are super important versus those two heroes in particular. Mid lane, 1437, takes a step too far up.
Straight away with the Dream Core down, Arfu and Super going to work, bringing down an up. I mean, yeah, Super, you know, as much as we made Joe, he is doing amazing. Is it 42 CS, our highest farm on the board? He is definitely going to be the real threat. If they can start to utilize this puck, getting moving around, use the Dream Coil to enable Monet to do work in the fights with the Metamorphosis, it's going to get crazy. And in fact, already 1437 getting jumped on again. The Nature's Wrath flies through. And LFY, they pick up another kill in the mid lane.
But Super now getting caught out of the side. Actually, John's on the high ground into a trap, but he's got his orb out.
Down to the low ground. Raven's going to see if he can try and chase him. Cuckoo is there with the wraparound. Will block him off. And look, he's trying to... Oh, you know, I thought he was going to give the kill to Raven. But he says, I'll take him myself. And does beat down upon Super, so they will catch him. At the same time, Monet and DDC looking towards Sam H. He's got the stick charges, does have the Burrow Strike. They were thinking about bringing in Inflame as well, but as soon as those charges came out, they knew they couldn't go for it.
Very high level, level 7 already. Lots of, he's 7.4 HP per second as well. Hard kill to get with that max Sandstorm too. But they also almost claim mid tower, so this is a little bit of a change up that we usually see from LFY. They're playing a lot around Super, which they have to do right now because the other lane got shut down so hard. It's pretty much up to Super and Inflame to get Monet back into this one.
Yes, they've got to somehow enable the recovery for this
mid. Every time coils up.
Super being so proactive with the help of Arfu and Inflame, just jumping in, joining him, and there's nowhere to roam with these Treants in the way. They will have the Sand King TPing in. Sam H may find Arfu in return with the Sandstorm. Because of his skill build, it's doing a lot of damage at this stage of the game. Takes down one in return, but still, nonetheless, it is this Alchemist now getting heavily punished by LFY. This pressure in the mid lanes giving space to Monet up on top.
Sam H, another kill he's gonna get maybe? Oh, so close.
That silence saving the life of both of them. Super does have the Invis, was thinking about going back in there, but as you say, this level 8 Sand King, very, very scary for LFY.
LFY is making a lot of space around the map, though. They're forcing aggression, they're forcing rotations, which gives Monet a lot of space. Up top, wailing on that top tier 1 tower. TNC also trading bottom. So they're like we said, they need to have some way to kind of get Monet back in the game. And there's two ways of doing that. You either get him involved in fights and you play around him, or you make space elsewhere on the map. And right now he's still a bit too under level to play around him.
Sam H back up top, and Monet is backed up by DDC at the moment. So we'll be fine. Looks like Super as well did pick obviously the null tallies up for the lane, but not going for the Veil, maybe saving straight for that Blink Dagger this game. Top lane, Sam H coming in with the Burrow Strike. Monet is there, looking for the turnaround. Inflame comes in with the TP. No Burrow Strike for Sam H for 5 seconds. He'll try and get himself out. But again, yeah, these Treant blocks causing a huge issue for Sam H. He does have the stick charge. We'll let the Burrow Strike back up. And that's enough. He's out of there. Sam with the plays. Bottom lane, Raven diving in deep. Steals a hefty chunk of damage from Arfu. Arfu will get himself back to safety.
Raven might be in some trouble here. Super's got Coil. Got him isolated, but...
He's a little scared, though, of Raven having that stolen damage.
Yeah, don't think they have TP follow-up. I think Inflames is still on cooldown for 10 more seconds.
5 for 5, very close showing for both of these teams in the early 10 minutes. TNC with the slight edge, but as expected, with having the Alchemist on their side.
Yeah, and running a very unexpected aggro tri-lane, which worked incredibly well. So... something I always like talking about is the levels. Of course, after aggro tri-lanes, we take a look, and it's pretty well dispersed. The 4 and 5 on the Naga and Jakiro, and 4 and 6 actually on LFY. So Afu is level 6 on Nightstalker, almost level 7 actually. But now they're looking to try to make aggression on him bottom, diving the tier 2.
Yeah, they're ready to go. Out comes the root. 1437 following through with the slow. There will be TP reactions from LFY. They turn towards Tims. Will get taken down here by Inflame on the back lines. LFY maybe seeing if they can chase down for more. Raven has the ultimate
really
out.
Wants to try here.
He does have that Dream Coil if he can close the gap.
They're really the Nightstalker's very fast with those phase boots. They might be able to catch up to him eventually. They do see him going into the tree line as well. They should be able
very
to
hard for him to get out. Yeah, they've got the vision. Dream Coil's down. He will break the coil on an attempt to escape. 4037 is there with the slows. Does still have the ultimate up for a couple of seconds there, Raven. And backup is on its way. LFY may now be turned around upon. Joe 4 from Super does get the 2-man silence, trying to bring down the Sand King, but Sam H still gets the time for the Burrow Strike. The Graves there from DDC though. Super survives. Sam H down. Raven will chase down Super. Goes for the jump and gets it. Super's out of there.
That Grave. Perfect
DDC.
timing by DDC.
I mean, we saw it time and time again in the group stages. Arfu as well with the Duke and TP out in the tree line gets himself back to safety.
And again, they force a ton of reaction toward the bottom lane, which frees up a lot for Monet to get that farm. Still not really completely recovered yet. They don't kill the Razor. They get a Sand King though, at least, and lose nobody. It was actually Afu was holding the Void there because he didn't want the Razor to just TP out right after the fall and use Void. So it actually ends up getting a lot closer to their tower, but he had to do so. And it's really important that they're carrying Reveal on the Nightstalker and the Dazzle, because in that situation, he puts down the Sentry instantly as soon as he sees Sand King. Sand King goes into the Sandstorm, but yeah, they cleaned him up.
DDC's Dazzle, definitely something the TNC, they've got to be aware of it in these fights. Somehow they have to stop this man from getting in position for these Graves and such. Because as we've seen, it's impossible for TNC to find the trades when DDC is in the neighborhood. And already LFY now off the back of that favorable trade down bottom, immediately moving to the top lane.
Yep.
Sam H in the neighborhood, 1400 towards the Blink Dagger at the moment, and Super still under the cover of the smoke. Will look towards him all.
Sam H.
A little late with the Dream Core there. Sam H with the game sense. Burrow striking straight away up to the tier 1, and that, by the looks of it, is going to put off LFY from looking for anything more there. So nice awareness there from Sam.
You know, we're talking about the Monet beginning to recover, slowly but surely, of course. But this Alchemist, almost level 12, actually level 12 now, and
look at the money.
Almost getting online for Radiance.
So they've come back, they are hunting for Sam H, but again, using these Burrow Strikes to just create the distance between them. And it makes it very hard for LFY to get anything done. And indeed, with this time, as you say, Cuckoo closing in on the Relic, bottom lane, TNC getting some pressure on a tier 2. LFY, they really want to catch this damage, but again, he just Burrow Strikes away. Arfu will look to try and chase him down by the looks of it. They are TPing in to block him off as well. Inflame's there, and this time, they will finally bring him down. But essentially, that is Sam H creating a lot of space. Bottom lane, tier 2, down to less than half health. And what's the money looking like on Cuckoo? He's 100 or so away from the Relic.
Yeah.
And they're going to get this tier 2 by the looks of it down bottom.
So LFY's trying to punish as much as they can, because they're like, oh, Alchemist is just farming this whole time. We have to make as much happen with these R4 4v4. But at the same time, TNC's getting some very favorable trades coming out here. Now they have a lot of access points into the enemy jungle. They put some very nice aggressive wards down too. So they're able to watch wherever Monet is farming. Monet actually able to start cleaning up an ancient stack, which is going to really start accelerating him.
Yeah, there's only a few hundred now behind Raven. TNC's carry, so that laning stage starting to, its effects at least being reverted, but definitely overall the fact that Cuckoo and his Alchemist exactly where he would hope to be at this stage.
Yeah, 1437 is playing the Jakiro as he normally does. He just throws down his macro pyre on a wave, just pushes it out as much as possible, meets up with his team, throws some liquid fire. Doesn't really care if he gets killed in a lot of those situations, because he's doing his job. He's just making sure that the lanes are forced out, and it's really hard for LFY to do those invasions. They talked about on the panel that LFY has a good team to actually be able to invade, but not when these kind of situations happen. And Radiance is going to be online in 150 gold, so he pretty much has it. So I'd like to see TNC definitely smoke up as soon as that Radiance gets online, so them to just make plays around the Alchemist, because it's pretty hard to bring him down at this point.
And I guess that's the thing as well. Once this Alchemist gets his Radiance Manta Octarine, and there's not too many great ways for LFY to deal with sort of that Radiance illusion push, is it?
Not really, no. They need their Terrorblade to be big to deal with that. Or the Nature's Prophet, of course, who is farming very well.
Down bottom, the Ruin super, but he will be able to jump out, of course. Same time, Cuckoo being backed up by 1437. There is the Radiance now completed. Top lane, Monet out into the trees, TPing himself away. Mid lane, Arfu making a bit of a go here onto Cuckoo. And it's
got the
down
silence
low.
rage,
The armlet's still there though, and of course with armlet toggling at his capability, there's no chance that Arfu can dive this low. Definitely 15 minutes in, TNC turning up here on the main stage against LFY, this absolutely terrifying team in the group stages.
They've got Blink now on Sand King. Hood already picked up on the Razor. They're looking at LFY's lineup and they're like, yeah, they're majority magic damage until the Terrorblade and Nature's Prophet get a couple items. So it's good itemization by Raven.
Oh, look at the D ward here, TNC unblocking their camps from LFY's warding, and LFY, though they know that 1437 was there with the D-Wall from the low ground, will find him in the tree line, bring down the Jakiro.
It's bound to happen at some point when they're splitting up so much on the map. Like Razor's showing bottom, Sand King's showing top, Alchemist is still jungling. They're not 100% aware that the Alchemist is jungling, but they probably have good reason to believe so. So every time they see someone else, like if they show, that's like one of the big rules of Dota. If you show in all 3 lanes, one of you is bound to die.
Raven, it's okay, he's feeling safe. The static link will be broken straight away, but nonetheless enough to stop LFY chasing him down.
No TP. TP cooldown was still there for Inflame. If the nighttime was still lasting maybe a bit longer, or if they had that TP cooldown with darkness, they maybe could have committed for it, but they wanted to just relax since that was not up just yet. Same age continuing that pressure top.
Oh, cool, some TP reactions, but he's straight out with the blink into the trees and nothing there to hold him back.
They're just shoving lanes in constantly. TNC, the Sam H has literally just been parked top, Sand King stun into Sandstorm over and over again to force the lane out.
I mean, he's just making so much space across this map. And DDC, chased down by Raven. Monet is there. Will pop the Metamorphosis for this one, but immediately just held back. Arfu's going to try and chase down Raven, see if they can get this Razor kill. But Samich is there on the high ground, does have Epi and Blink if he wants to try and turn back into this. Dreamcore's dropped down only onto Raven.
He gets silenced right away.
Nicely done there from Arfu, making sure that there's no return play coming in from Samage. They've also managed to sprout Tim's up on the sideline. He does still have the song. Not going to bother popping it by the looks of it, as he accepts his fate. That is the Naga Siren down. Now, TP was still on cooldown for the Naga, so even with the song usage, was almost certainly dead anyway. So deciding to save it for potentially another hold here back at the base.
LFY forced him to split in 2 different ways, so Naga got isolated a bit by the Dazzle who threw Weave on him, and Nature's Prophet just chasing him down right-clicking, while the Night Stalker and everyone else chased through the river. So it's just really good play by LFY, but also TNC maybe slight misplay, just running in different directions and splitting up rather than running as a group. But during all that time, Cuckoo just farming, gets the Boots of Travel finished up, so he's got ways to be able to join the fight with his teammates.
Fight they will. TNC smoking up. Totally unbeknownst to the side of LFY, no vision down at that area. So TNC do have a chance to make a jump here.
They're really relying on the Alchemist farm though at this point. It's 3k lead, and the Alchemist is the one who has the 6k lead over the next hero. So the next 3 are LFY's.
I mean, they see DDC mid. It's obviously not the biggest kill they want. But it is a kill nonetheless. He'll make sure to waste their time with the Grave. He's going to look to see if he can get the timing with a deny. It was just a little bit too early, though. The Grave was still up. In fact, TNC said, all right, we'll turn this into a Roche attempt. Straight away, they're into the pit. I mean, LFY are probably going to be aware that this is happening.
They've got a pretty decent Roche lineup. They don't really take too much damage because of the Chemical Rage and Liquid Fire, so the Roche doesn't really attack, and they have to sustain through it.
I mean, this is going to work out perfectly if TNC just get away with that. DDC sort of making the call for TNC there. Say, commentate Roche. They say, well, we will. And LFY, they're not even going to try and challenge it. Free Roshan there for TNC. Aegis into Cuckoo's pocket.
How convenient. Excellent call there by TNC, though, to make their way in with that stolen damage. And they do have a decent amount of minus armor, like we said. Acid Spray with Riptide. Puts Roche down quite a lot.
Still Monet on the farm. How's he doing item-wise? He's
on his way toward Manta.
Nearly at the ultimate orb, yeah. Still very much
the road to recovery is still there.
Yes. As we said, you know, at the start where he was very much behind. In a much better position now. Decent levels as well, level 12.
Gets an Arcane Rune, that helps a lot. More Conjure Images. TNC has some very deep wards to watch wherever that Alchemist, or to watch wherever that Terrorblade is farming.
Right time to be popped, Raven. Just a few hundred away from having the Blade Mail on the Razor. Still certainly all the space in the world for Cuckoo's Alchemist.
Yeah, it's just Cuckoo really farming, though. That's the one concern I do have for TNC, is that no one else is really able to get farming.
They are trying to fight here around the shrine, and they're not going to get away with it. But looks bit Savage comes to the midst of it all, gets the two-man burrow strike, Graves out of time. DDC, but into the MP chase down, coming through, forcing the side of LFY back. DDC has already put the Grave, the Dream Cold Stone will hold them back. Silence onto Samx to make sure he can't burrow strike forward.
Nobody died?
That could have got a lot messier for LFY there, trying to fight around that shrine. But it didn't. They all survived. DDC again with a very nice Grave.
He's been on point with those. I actually cannot believe that nobody died there. TNC had to expend a couple ultimates there to defend that. Now LFY able to siege a bit toward that tower, but TNC's all in the area. They still have Sleep too, and like the panel mentioned, they do have a decent combo with the Jakiro and the Sanking on top of that Sleep.
So if they can do anything off the back of this, they are going to jump forward with the Burrow Strike onto Monet. Still on the sidelines though, Arfu's still by the shrine, looking to see if he can get behind them for a clutch silence. Cuckoo will have his eyes upon him. He's not going to look for the chase though, Arfu too speedy.
Cuckoo just farmed a massive Ancient stack. About to have Manta Style already finished up now too. Double the net worth of the next hero. Alchemist.
He's going to try something here with this haste rune. Looks to see if he can get a bit of a cheeky play onto Super. Super jumps back, will jaunt off. Phase shifts there. Dodge the concoction.
He's got to use it now.
Raven. Into Wars, DDC has got Sam H in the neighborhood. See if they can get anything done. 14:37 around as well.
The wards of this game have been crazy by TNC. I'm pretty sure every single ward they've placed has been put in the enemy jungle, or watching that one Ancient spot, the one on the left side. But other than that, yeah, they've been completely focused on sticking on LFY's side of the map, other than Cuckoo. Cuckoo's just chilling in the jungle.
And Flame keeping up the split push pressure as well. Shadow Blade complete, so he's going to feel a lot safer doing so now. And definitely something that TNC had to be aware of. But of course, yeah, with the Naga, with the Alchemist, they themselves, very good methods of pushing out the lanes. I mean, you mentioned Jakiro, Sangi, and their whole team as a whole, a lot better at sort of bursting down the waves in comparison to LFY's lineup when it comes to waves pushing.
Yeah, definitely. They have the Nature's Prophet though, which is he's a little bit of a different creature. He can go everywhere.
Mid lane, quick jump in onto 14:37 with the Veil, of course. Massive amounts of magical damage from LFY.
They did see a couple people bottom, or they saw at least one hero bottom with LFY. Now they're starting a pincer, looking for a couple kills. They poured in. There's actually no reveal on the side of TNC except for that one sentry ward they have in the middle of the jungle.
And in fact, LFY maybe wanting to try and fight this. Alfu comes in immediately with the silence onto Sam H. Holt from a Raven comes through. They'll start to force back here onto Inflame. They have the root as well. He goes for the TP out. Graves there to make sure he's safe. But no, the Burrow Strike comes in from Sam H. He's going to be left behind. Inflame's down. They do lose Sam H in return. But TNC seeing what they get. So more Cuckoo comes in with the bots with the pre-prepared concoction. And that will set up for a second there for TNC.
Nice response. The beauty of having Boots of Travel on Alchemist at an early time. You can always join the fights and outnumber. LFY probably thought that they could outnumber them there, but unable to. Now they go high ground.
They are going
Still
up.
got the Aegis.
They've got the Manta, the Radiance, and as you say, the Aegis on this Alchemist. Cuckoo feeling ready to frontline. They are without Sam H, but LFY themselves, no DDC, no Inflame. Getting very close to bringing down this tier 3. The fortification comes out from LFY. They do have No, they don't quite have Dream Coil yet. How long until we're seeing that one?
2 seconds.
2 seconds,
Yeah.
so they've got it now. Now TNC realize they start to back off. They're a little scared of this. There's the
song, though.
The 3, indeed the song. Coming through, buying time for Cuckoo at least to TP out. Tim's TPing out as well. 40-37. Looks like he will be the one to be left behind. Raven trying
to get Raven as well.
to make it. Wasn't quite quick enough with it. Now with the Void Stone coming out from Arfu. Raven, he will be taken down. So LFY able to punish TNC off the back of that push down bottom, taking 2, and TNC, as you know, they did get a lot of damage to the tier 3 tower, but they didn't quite finish it off.
Could be worse though. If they weren't able to get the song off at that time, if he got silenced somehow, it could have been 4 or 5 heroes dropping. So losing 2, not the greatest, but can definitely be more costly. And they got, yeah, like you said, majority of that tower brought down. Aggressive TPing in, they're looking for Tims as well.
Coming in, Arfu with the setup, Sprouts out with the silence. And of course, Song still on cooldown, no chance for Tims. LFY quick with the plays, knowing that there's already a couple of heroes off the map, and straight down the bottom lane. Monet, with the last of his Metamorphosis, putting pressure onto this tier 1. They've got the full 5 mana around it for LFY. This is a very, very risky tower for TNC to try and hold, and indeed they won't even give it the time of day. They'll let it go as LFY playing the tower.
We mentioned how much these 2 guys do. Inflame and Afu on LFY are having incredibly good games. 5 and 2 and 11. He's involved in all 16 kills on Afu. That's absolutely incredible. And 4 and 1 and 5, of course, of Inflame. Very impressive for what he's been doing, but still, Afu is absolutely everywhere, involved in everything that they've done so far.
Cuckoo's deep though. He's in LFY territory. Afu is actually gonna kind of let him go there. Did spot him out. Now we'll go in on him with Monet. And they but no, Afu's not bothering to throw anything down on him. I don't know. I guess he knows there's the Manta there, and so it just feels like he can't do anything about that Alchemist. Just have to sort of let Cuckoo be and get on with his life.
That's just the fear factor of the Alchemist. They need the puck pretty much, because he's their only real lockdown. As the panel kind of talked about, their chase is good because they have the Night Stalker, but their actual way of like keeping the fights near them is just the puck. They don't have any other stuns besides puck. Cuckoo will be getting that Octarine at a good timing, 25 or 26 minute mark. So, like we said, double the net worth of the next ones. But other than that, it's still, you take a look, and it's only a 2K lead for TNC, and it's actually a 1,000 experience lead going the way of LFY.
It's, yeah, as you say, you know, just looking at the 3 cores from LFY. Across the board in comparison to Raven and Sam H, LFY are breaking ahead. This Midas on Inflame, certainly working out, and as you say, you know, the amount of split push pressure he's been putting on, farming these waves, keeping them pushed out.
And the really impressive thing too is that Monet, he's 0 and 0. Has not died yet, even though he got aggro tri-laned, has been doing a great job of just recovering. His team is making all the space in the world for him to do that, which he desperately needs. He's now got Manta style though, so he's a lot more threatening.
We're going to see a smoke on smoke here coming through from both sides. TNC coming down the river, LFY entering from the bottom.
It looks like here.
They are going to look to jump onto Cuckoo. Cuckoo get the Chemical Rage out. They'll drop the Dream Core. Nature Repertoire has the man stole. Now the back of the TNC coming in. Savage looking for the epicenter. There he gets it. Comes in, only catches the Night Stalker.
They're sleeping though.
And in fact, yeah, the sleep epicenter. They sort of said we can't fight. We've got to get out. But now, LFY, they are going to certainly chase this down. They look towards Tims, jumping forward with the silence. Sam H still down the high ground. They have got the concoction built up by Cuckoo. Tries to throw it out, but super easy phase shift there for the puck. Will be fine. LFY continuing to chase up the high ground. Ice Path holds back the Night Stalker. Raven with the ultimate steal and the Blade Mail, returning a lot of damage. Super still trying to jump back in with the silence. Looking for Sam H. Can he quite find it? No, Sam H still alive. Inflame's going to TP onto the side. Looking for him, but the Sandstorm's there. Sam H keeps himself alive. Not only the Jakiro to have died yet, but TNC, they're falling very low. Sam H again with the bow strike, trying to break the distance, but super jumps forward. Will finish off Sam H. Tims holding down the puck underneath the range of the tower. But still, super too tanky, has the phase shift. Sandstorm's there, but he's going to be used up. Can he get himself out of this one? No, the Blink's not going to be there in time. Will phase shift dodge the burrow strike? Can he really play himself out? Hacked off the Blink. There's illusions upon him. Sandstorm as well, trying to hold this man back. Tims looking to try and get the net out. Cuckoo's there with the cutoff, and he cannot escape that. Super finally goes down as TNC will take the puck.
What a crazy fight. They actually forced Sam H to buy back there, but the whole time that they have Metamorphosis, they just want to go, go, go. They don't want to not fight. As soon as meta wears off, that's when they instantly start to retreat.
Absolutely, and it's instantly when TNC say, let's get down this middle lane. No Metamorphosis. Puck's down for 30 seconds. They want to try and abuse this opening as much as they can. Into the tier 2 they go. Can they break the high ground though? We saw them try it down on the bottom lane.
I think they're going to go down bottom, it looks like. I see the line drawn by 1437. They have a creep wave coming in mid, so they're actually able to go up to that tower. There's still Glyph up, and now they're all aggressively weaving to take it down.
This could be risky. 12 seconds till Puck's back. Fortifications there. TNC have to be very careful about how they go about this bottom lane push.
Courier snipe coming out. Easy for Inflame.
And yeah, TNC, they back off from that bottom lane. As soon as the Puck's back up, they realize they cannot afford to overstay their welcome like the last time they did down there.
They get a nice deep ward in the base, though, and I don't think LFY is going to know that that's there. Because usually you expect it when someone commits more to a push, but in that one, that's just a really sneaky ward coming out from 1437.
Bottom lane, 1437, out alone again. Will try for the TP out, but the damage is more than enough from LFY.
I like this by Super too. He didn't use it in this situation, but now he has the boot to travel finished up on the puck. So he can always TP to inflame Treants and always get involved in all the fights.
They're going to look for Roshan as well. With one man down, they know that they've got the numbers advantage for 22nd, and LFY...
Solar Crest too, yeah, they should be able to bring it down at a decent pace. This is the important one too. This is the Aegis and Cheese. Song is available, Epi is available as well, but without that Jakiro...
This is going to be such a terrifying push this way. Now, Monet has Metamorphosis back up and available. That with Aegis and Cheese. They have a very strong possibility of being able to break the high ground of TNC, and TNC, indeed, they are nowhere near this. They'll start to send some Naga illusions out, but it's going to scout it out too late as LFY do get themselves Roshan, Aegis, and Cheese.
TNC probably doesn't want to take straight up fights now versus that. Trying to split push. They've got the means to do so, though, with the Alchemist, of course. And Cuckoo's about to have Shivas, which is a huge pickup. That one item actually makes Alchemist insane. Just the amount of it increases your tankiness is massive, because that armor and as well as the slow and attack speed slow can be quite crucial on Monet.
They pretty much have to focus everyone on that out to have a chance of killing him.
Or somehow get like a silence off before he's able to, like after the Mantis now comes off, so he can't get the Chemical Rage, but it's still super hard to bring him down. They have to isolate him, or get a heavy weave ticking down from Monet to just find a place where
bottom lane, again, anyone that comes down here will be hunted down. Arfu closes the gap, has the Crippling Fear, trying to go for the TP straight out in the sideline, but coils down. And that will be another pickup for LFY down in this bottom lane. I mean, both Arfu and Inflame, just so scary to push out in a game where these two are playing this Night Stalker Nature's Prophet. Is time and time again, they are catching out these solo lane pushes.
And for the first time in the entire game in 30 minutes, it was a 100 gold lead for LFY, but now it's gone back for TNC.
Cuckoo back on with the farm train. As soon as that Shivas is done, he's up to 2k on top of it. Arfu eyes towards the mid lane. Down bottom as well, 1437.
They're starting to get a lot of their itemization coming at them. Monet has completely recovered, as we see, that 13,000 net worth. But now, with the Mantis style, which is the super core arm, but Hurricane Pike, now he has that tool to actually push himself away from that Razor to not have to worry so much about that static link.
Raven is talking about the Razor. He's been spotted out in the tree line. He needs to back up. A super jumps in. Beautiful silence on the back lines. Make sure that there's no response immediately. The stun does still come out from Cuckoo, but TNC keeping their distance, not wanting to take the fight against LFY whilst they do not have good vision around that area. LFY will back off. TNC do hold this tier 2 for the time being in the middle lane. But again, I mean, you talked about it in the draft. These puck silences have the potential to be so clutch in these team fights. Every time the super's in position, it's pretty much impossible for TNC's backliners to react as quick as the rest of the team need them to do so. Arfu on the side. Gets spotted out and will immediately go for the TP back to base. Because mid lane, TNC,
they really want it.
They're immediately coming down this. Again,
Glyph is still cooldown for 1 more minute, so they want to try to force something.
It's every time that Metamorphosis has been used.
Exactly.
Every time that they know that's not there, TNC know that they have this nice little advantage.
They have to. Like, they are actually starting to be in a point where it's just the Alchemist who actually does much in the fights. Everybody else is, I mean, Razor's 11k net worth. Sand King has dropped down to all the way 7,000 net worth. So not really having the impact that you would want from your core Sand King. But that's the nature of their draft. It's the Alchemist versus the world. And LFY is slowly but surely getting means to be able to deal with it.
TNC, though, still playing it safe. Take the tier 3. Don't stick around for more. Back off. Clean up the shrines. And there definitely is still some sort of solace and safety knowing how farmed Cuckoo is. You constantly got this Alchemist, which is getting to the point where he's sort of borderline unkillable.
And he can give Ags to every single one of their heroes,
absolutely,
which will be super helpful.
Who's getting it first?
Probably, I would say probably the Raven. just because of he's underfarmed. Sanking is probably like one of the best ones because of the stun, how massive the range is for him to catch and everything. But I think just because Raven, his farm has completely stagnated, you have to give him a way to accelerate.
We'll see if that is next on the shopping list. It certainly is getting close to the point where Cuckoo can look to buff up his teammates. Has 5,000 gold in the bank at the moment.
Like all the eggs are pretty cool. Like the Jakiro is probably the most underwhelming. It's great for high ground defense.
What about the Naga Axe fault? How many times have we seen that?
I think I've seen it twice ever in competitive Dota or something, maybe less. It's very rare. I mean, I know it's been picked up, but you don't see it often at all.
I think full duration ends up healing like 56% of everyone's HP or something. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
70.
70. Okay. I mean, yeah, that can absolutely turn a fight if they get the clutch moment to use it.
Especially with an Alchemist, right? You full heal him, and then he pops Chemical Rage again, and then you're like, uh-oh.
But for the time being, Cuckoo, focusing on the necessities for the team, does pick up the gem for the side.
Super finished up the Aghanims. That's also the thing is, we were talking about the Alchemist being able to pool Ags, but Puck, when he gets level 20, 25, can pool the Moon Shards, and that 420 GPM starts to become pretty absurd for himself. So he actually chooses the minus 3 seconds on Waning Rift. Okay. We see a lot of players go for the Spell Amp because you get level 25, you get your Dagon fast, and eventually you'll be able to just burst people down like that. But the Waning Rift, like we said, it's been super relevant in this game and can prove to do so.
I mean, what's the kind of the timings then? What, on a 10-second cooldown?
It's like the same cooldown as your Orb.
Yeah.
Like that's the, you Orb in, you're able to get silence off pretty much every single time because they're 11 on the Orb and 10 on that. Ayascati next on the menu for Monet. Now level 18 for that low cooldown Sunder.
And I think definitely to kind of harp on what you've been mentioning, the thing to know about this game is the fact that LFY are only 1,000 behind when TNC have an Alchemist with 31k net worth at 35 minutes. It just goes to show how kind of well-rounded and farmed up the remaining members of LFY are in comparison to that of TNC. The rest of TNC other than this out are really, really falling behind.
Yeah. They're having to kind of run around because they're afraid of the pickoffs. That's what was happening in the mid game. Like 10 minutes ago or so, people were showing bottom. They kept getting killed over and over again. So they're at a point where they're like, okay, we kind of have to stick together because this Nature's Prophet and Night Stalker are putting too much pressure on us, and it's causing them to get very underfarmed. It's just Cuckoo. Now it's up to 6,500 gold.
I mean, he's got enough to pick up a Scepter and have the buyback.
See what he wants to do. If he wants to maybe finish up the Armlet for himself and buy like an AC instead of getting the Aghanims for teammates
swap
first.
out something for that.
Could be a possibility.
Look at the Halberd now on Raven, so a bit of an answer to the main man Monet when the TV turns up to the fight.
Hey, he's picked up a couple items. That Hurricane Pike, Halberd, and Blade Mail Hood.
Now that there's a Blood Thorn though on Inflame, definitely that sort of same thing applies, as you said earlier. If they can get that silence onto the out post Manta Star, then they've got the potential to even bring him down. It's a lot of damage if they have that on him, and the whole team focusing.
3 different ways to silence him, and also now to break that evasion, of course, with the Bloodthorn. His teammates can hit through it at least, unless it gets manted off. So both teams do have that gem picked up, so the Vision game will be slowed down on both sides, but LFY should be able to win it because they have Night Stalker.
Looks like Cuckoo is just going to continue to buy items for himself, as you said.
So he's going to
swap out the armlet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So instead of going for an extra armor item, he wants to be able to do more damage and better ways to push out the lanes, because they're starting to struggle to deal with this Nature's Prophet split push.
There we go, armlet gone. Honor and the recipe picked up. Just needs to get that Hyperstone from the side shop. Yeah. Then we can definitely expect the axe.
Yeah. Mjolnir is super useful though. With the Mjolnir, with the Shivas, with Octarine, you throw that on yourself, you just kind of run into the fights. It's also great versus the Tower Blade Illusions, of course, so he can get a good amount of healing and able to actually clear versus it. And yeah, Ayascati now finished up for Monet. That recovery.
Yeah, he's played it perfectly, Monet.
Top 3 now. 1-0-7.
All of that down to, of course, DDC's play as well. Many times that we saw Monet living on the edge, but DDC came in with the clutch saves.
Rose should be spawning relatively soon.
TNC with his movement. They're looking for some action, hunting down Arfu. They will manage to find the connection with the Burrow Strike. Ice Path and Concoction. Finally, after a bit of a slumber in the game, TNC break it by finding Arfu out and alone. Super's there, though, cutting the wave, so nothing more that TNC can do with their presence down on this bottom lane.
TNC made a play around their only ward vision that they did have, the one that's half duration in the enemy jungle. So they just tried to make something. Because they definitely feel, that map is starting to close on them a bit with LFY all farming all over the place. They only have the Alpha. keep mentioning over and over again. Who is farming?
Super looking for the Lincoln Sphere next. Once that is on, he is going to be feeling incredibly free in these team fights. Top lane, Cuckoo's being eyed up. LFY with 4 in the neighborhood. They're ready to try and make a play here onto the Alchemist. Cuckoo, is he going to get himself out? Already has used the Manta, so now there's the chance for Inflame to go in with a silence.
Oh, they might think that's the real one.
He
moved it away.
Indeed. Oh, the bait is perfect. Cuckoo, he's out mind game them. Now goes for the TP. Super
They've got a
still have the Yules and will manage to hold him back, cancelling the teleport. But Super, he can try and turn a fight. He needs backup from his team. His team are on the way, but it's actually Arfu keeping TNC away from getting there in time. Cuckoo has one more use of the Man Star, will bring down DDC, but that's Cuckoo down.
That's a massive kill.
Arfu seeing if they can maybe set up a more. Look at this trap hit. Tims is just surrounded. No escape for him there as the illusions from the Terrorblade and the Treants.
Did anyone pick up the gem that the Jakiro, I think, had, or that somebody? I see it. Oh, no, it's up there. They're pinging it. They know, though.
Still at the top.
That's the Dazzle had it. He was pinging it. Yeah. DDC's like, wait a minute. They didn't take it. So they send the courier up there.
But really nice engagement. Even though it wasn't the smoothest of entries, we saw them go on the illusion. But then Arfu, as I say, we kind of saw it at the bottom there. He sort of held back TNC. TNC were trying to make their way up to help Cuckoo. But Arfu was kind of like, hey, come and look at me, guys. And indeed, that sort of slowdown has enabled LFY to now be in this position to break the high ground with the last few seconds of Metamorphosis. It is now gone. Super jumping in, 2-man silence, get the Dream Coil onto the tanking. There's the sleep from Tims.
They're all lined up for the ice path.
Very lined up here. 1437, he lays down the ice path. Does it connect onto Inflame, but the combo comes in. They're falling like there's the Epicenter from Savage. Takes down 2. Super trying to jump his way out, but Raven's there with the ultimate. Tims as well, looking to chase down again. No, the ice path won't connect. Blinks out, but the root's through. Tims closes the gap. TNC hold. Perfect song there from Tims to set everything up. And that push ground to an absolute halt.
You couldn't ask for a better situation to happen right there. Literally all 4 of them in a perfect line for the ice path for the Sanking follow-up. Great defense there from TNC. It only required the Naga to buy back there. I was worried. I was like, I think they might have to buy back the Alchemist, but yeah, perfect.
We'll see it again.
Look at this lineup.
I mean, as you say, yeah, Tims having the fortitude to buy back.
Look at that.
I mean, 40, he could have got all 4, did only get 3 of them.
Oh, it's still pretty.
Nah, he goes for the 3 big ones. Make sure that he gets both Super and Monet in there. And indeed, Samh, no hesitation as he follows through with the combo.
And now Roche respawns right afterwards, so TNC makes their way in there. Gonna pick up an easy Aegis cheese. And now the Aghanim Scepters will be coming out. Did he actually buy one yet? No, he's got 4,000.
He's ready to go. There we have it, indeed. Roche is down. TNC.
They're trying to make a move right away. They still have 20 seconds until the puck respawns. They're trying to get a pick off to keep LFY 1-man down. So next big item pickups for TNC will be the Lotus Orbs to deal with the Sunder whenever Monet is able to get that off. And we already see Samh grab one up. I think Tim's had one in his quick buy as well. He does. And I think I saw Jakiro as well with one, but no, okay, he took whatever item he had as quick buy out. The Lotus Orbs, of course, super useful versus Sunder to reflect that. Negate the heal.
So if they get anything with a smoke, looks like it is just a smoke and back off.
And now everybody's up. They wanted to try to take advantage of when somebody was dead.
Cuckoo with his Arcane Rune at this stage, going to put an extra bit of a speed boost to his farming potential.
Yep.
As he still sits comfortably, of course, at the top. Inflame, though, very much, he is getting a lot on this Nature's Problem. He's halfway through level 24, nearly at the 25. Very close to having a full-out Miona himself as well.
His damage is still very high. Never can sleep on Nature's Prophet.
Super.
TNC starting to move in.
Yeah, they are looking towards Super here on this top lane. The upgraded bots allowing Cuckoo to come in on top of 1437. Super's in the tree line. We'll see if they can find him. Shivas won't quite catch him in the area. And he is out in the trees. They do not have any sort of cancel or vision to hold him back. But on the side of it all, Samh does get the stun onto Inflame.
He wants to BKB TP, but Tim's is starting to make it closer. Is he able to get the net off in time?
It's going to be close.
So. It's going to be close, but
yeah, not quite there. Inflame will keep himself alive.
Second BKB usage.
And this is definitely turning out to be quite the game that we hoped it to be. Both sides really giving it their all here on the main stage. 23-15, 5K lead for TNC. But definitely a game that could still swing both ways around, as we can see there. You know, one fight and a sharp drop-off for one of the sides.
Yeah. Aghanim is almost finished up. He starts bringing it out to pick up the point booster. Giving it to Raven also doesn't just make it so that he's more farmed, of course, which he's started to catch up heavily because of the fights, but then they actually have better siege to kill towers with that Aghanim's upgrade. Which is really just the Alchemist who can start hitting towers at this moment.
Ooh,
until
that illusion nearly took down that Aghanim's delivery there. They will still get it over safely. And Cuckoo, where's it going?
It actually goes to Tim's.
It goes to Tim's. I mean, he did pull off a brilliant sleep play. I think you have to reward that. And as you know, as we're saying, the heal, it is incredibly substantial.
And it's Tim's.
It's Tim's. If you're going to trust anyone to get the sleep off at the clutch moment to give you that 70% health regen, I mean, it's just essentially, it's a second life for your whole team if it's timed right. And yep. Tim's certainly playing at the top of his game here in this first game of the series. We can expect some big plays to happen with that. And definitely, this is something as well that Tim's, he can make his name even bigger with
bottom
this.
Lane.
We don't see a lot of Aghanims. Naga Siren plays bottom lane though indeed. 1437 jump to bottom, does manage to
get the cheese
out. And now look for the turnaround. Super will use up to dodge the concoction, but they still find the connection. Has the phase shift. Will be able to blink out of this, and indeed down to the bottom. Can they actually catch him out? He's in the trees with the orb. He's fine, just a little too slippery.
Cheese forced.
Very hard to catch this buck, no doubt about it.
Cheese forced, reactions forced as well. Now they go back to the other side of the map, pushing the lanes.
And it's going to be a little harder to do as well for LFY for Super if they see 1437 out on his own, because he now does have a Yule Scepter himself.
Now they've got level 25 Nature's Prophet. Oh, he actually misclicks his BKB.
Oh.
Just testing to see if it works, right?
We didn't see that on the mainstream fault.
He's just testing it. That's right, that's the way it works.
See what can do mid.
Monet.
Raven, finding Monet here. Cuckoo's going to charge up the concoction. We'll throw it out. BKB comes out straight away. Monet, no messing around. Knows that he has to save himself. Can't leave open any opportunity for him to be caught out like that.
Doesn't even risk trying to go for the Manta dodge. Just all out goes for the BKB. So 45 minutes in, we've got double catapult waves coming in. We've got double ruins, of course, too. So start playing a favor.
Bottom lane, Tim's bringing in Cuckoo. They are going to try and set up with the sleep. They managed to find him. Do they have the connection? The concoction's going to come out earlier, but now with the back of the damage, Super's actually trying to DP in to save this. The silence and green comes through, but Inflame just melts, disappears immediately. Super down deep in the trees, will be fine. But this is 90 seconds where they don't have to worry about that Inflame Nature's Prophet being out on the map. TNC can definitely give it a good shot, trying to force out that buyback. Mid lane though, 1437 being gone upon, has the self-fuels, but with 3 heroes surrounding him, very little chance of him getting home alive, as 1437 will be gone.
Yeah,
but straight away, it's, TNC is down bottom, they're fine with this attention being drawn towards mid.
Aegis gets reclaimed.
What can they do to stop this? Metamorphosis is popped. Starting to beat into Cuckoo.
They're getting pincered on though here in the back.
Oh, they are. This wraparound coming through. TPL straight away. No, he cancels it. Wants to try and fight this Cuckoo and help his teammates. They get the silence out of the Night Stalker. Super bringing them away. Has a haste rune as well. Monet forcing himself forward, trying to close the gap.
They really want to catch something here with this Metamorphosis.
Oh, that dodge of the concoction. Very nice. Super is not going to jump forward though.
They're unable to get anything. So Meta now will be down for the next engagement.
Yeah, TNC.
They're already resetting. They're trying to get in there while that Meta goes down.
Yeah, this is the perfect time. With those last few seconds of Metamorphosis, if they can get that jump. And Cuckoo is being spotted out again by the illusions being spread out from Monet.
LFY knows.
How much can TNC do with that Metamorphosis down? They are still without 1437. Only 10 seconds until Inflame is back as well.
They really want to be able to kill Tims in these fights, but with the Guardian Greaves and how innately tanky Naga is, it's really hard to just remove all the silences and always able to get that sleep off, so it's super threatening.
We've got the next Aghanims coming out as well from Cuckoo. This one, it is going to go the way. Who's he giving it to? It does go the way of Raven, as you expected, yeah.
Those are 2 more important ones. I mean, Sand Kings is also super important, but letting Raven get that surge of gold is important, because he's still not he's not where he ideally really would want to be as a Raven.
Super. Don't really have any sort of instant lockdown though, so Super is fine. He'll jump back up.
Inflame is not there. Inflame is now pushing in top and pushing in middle.
Yeah, really nice use of these Terrorblade illusions to keep all lanes pushed out away from LFY's base. TNC, they really need to, they've got to back up. They've got to try and push one of their waves up with and protect it against this illusion spam from LFY that's coming out from Monet. to make sure that they have a chance of actually doing damage to the barracks of LFY.
Cuckoo has enough for that. Aghanim's almost with Ags and buyback for that final one. Then he can start giving moon shards and eating moon shards himself.
I mean, don't forget the Jakira Ags as well.
Yeah.
That does a hefty bit in the fights.
It's more about high ground defense for that one at least. But yeah,
Sure.
it could be.
It's the last on the list.
Yeah, it could be massive.
MKB now out for Monet, so he is really going to be packing a punch. It's getting to the point where it may even be impossible for TNC to think about taking a fight when he has Metamorphosis up. He definitely has the potential to kill the Alchemist.
And almost level 25, so he gets that extra stats that push him forward, unless he chooses for the Sunder cooldown. But
let's see what we've got here. TNC, again, ready to push forward. Raven trying to build up his damage from the illusion. Being from Inflame will have the Sprout. Still teasing around, no one yet to commit anything heavy.
God, Reflection is such a strong spell. Every time they walk up with the Alchemist, the Reflection starts to do a crazy amount of damage.
Straight out, look with the blood form. Cuckoo has to Manta and get himself forced out immediately. Dream Core's dropped down, only connects onto Raven. There's the song though. Tims making sure that the side is safe.
They have to retreat.
They will. I mean, again, it's the same thing. Metamorphosis is out. TNC say, all right, we'll back off. We'll try and use the next thing. But of course, LFY, they really want to fight with this. They come through with Inflame, post the BKB, but he's netted up, held back, silences out. Onto the
Cuckoo stuns himself.
Guardian who grieves himself out. Force forward, trying to get Cuckoo out of there. Super jumping in. Cuckoo's still alive for the time being. Arfu trying to chase him down. They've got the Reflection. It's not quite enough to kill Cuckoo. He will survive. Grave comes out from DDC to try and save Arfu, but he ticks out to the fire from 1437. So all in all, LFY that wants to lose one of these, and now TNC is ready to go back in. They know that the Metamorphosis is falling down. They get the burst strike connection. Super will jump in with the silence.
Monet has no buyback.
There's the Grave, looking for the Sunder, but the Lotus off. He doesn't get the Sunder. The Lotus play is there. TNC, they break down the Terrorblade. What a clutch Lotus off. And TNC, they're not done yet. They've got the vision on DDC in the trees. They'll take down the Dazzle as well. And now they're ready to go to the high ground. Buyback from DDC. Arfu.
It's backdoor though. Already LFY is addressing the issue that there's no buyback on Terrorblade.
But look at the damage with the ults as well. The Aghanim's ultimate from Raven. They'll clean up this bottom lane of Rax. Maybe even more. They're looking towards mid. Inflame heavy with the split push pressure right down the middle lane. They don't have the creeps. They now don't have the ultimate anymore from Raven, but still, they're slowly but surely doing it down this middle lane. Inflame, he's committing to that middle, wants to try and find something in return. He's onto the tier 3. No, there's the jump off. The Dream Core goes through, cancelling Sam's TP out. There's no way for Sam to get back. He's going to be going back in a coffin. He's out for 80 seconds. Super trying to play with the rest of them, allowing Inflame to get the job done down the middle lane.
He's still going.
Sam H
down on that Rex,
They've got Sam H and 1437 back at base, looking to hold. Inflame pops the BKB, looking for the TP out. They don't have enough damage to go through it, so
they got to kill the catapults. Yeah, they got to kill the catapults.
And melee Rex falling low, but as we saw, they've got to be aware of the split push still mid lane, playing around with Cuckoo. They won't go in for the kill though. The backup's not quite there. So at the end of the day, the job is certainly done by TNC. They get the full bottom lane of Rax. Mid lane is held onto though, and Inflame doing everything he can to slow down TNC.
Super clutch plays coming out from everybody on TNC. That Lotus Orb, like you said, reflecting that Sunder, turning the fight around completely.
Everyone absolutely playing to their best ability here. This is quite the show between these two sides. There's another Aghanims.
The final eggs. And, oh, you know, just another casual 6,000 gold, of course.
Into Sam H's pocket. Solar Press now as well for Tims. Speed up that Roche potential if they want to go for it. Still very hard for TNC to really walk straight into the pit and try and take it. Mid lane, jump forward with the silence. See if they can try and get a wraparound already. Arfu towards the left, but he's actually going to get caught out by that Axe Burrow Strike. Samich with the range, but the Ice Path's not quite there. Get himself over the tree line. TNC, they don't really want to go up to the high ground here. Bit of an awkward place for them to fight in. The back off, the weave's on them as well.
Yeah, 4-man weave.
Inflame again, keeping this pressure on. Top lane being shoved in. I mean, this is crazy, really. We've seen how much of a free game Cuckoo has. We're 52 minutes in. Inflame's only 7,000 behind him. That just goes to show how farmed this Nature's Prophet is.
He's got 520 CS, so 10 CS a minute on that Nature's Prophet. Has to address the issues of the split push, always. Yeah, always has to be pushing those lanes out. Night Stalker actually now has the Apu has the Aghanim Scepter finished up, so they can actually take the fights easier because now they have the vision advantage in them. And I think Super also, I believe, hit level 25 for that GPM talent. Yeah, so full Hex now finished up and buyback. The Hex can be super significant to isolate that Alchemist, because that last fight was super close to him dropping down, but they were able to turn it around. Just the 4-staff defensive play from TNC was incredibly well done.
He's going to find Apu on the side of it all. He'll flap himself away, trying to escape. The concoction connects. Burrow strike as well. Grave from DDC comes out. Can they do anything in return? Money trying to go for
Tim's is trying to sleep, but get Hex.
Managed to Hex him up. He can't quite get the sleep off. He's taken down. TNC have lost 2. Super jumping in. Cuckoo's armor falling low because of the weave. Money coming forward. Inflame team is across. They found 3. They're looking for Raven. He's rolled up in the air, but they surround the Razor. Raven down as well. LFY making the hold here in their own jungle. And now Raven and Tims without buyback. Inflame already in position in the middle lane, trying to push down. 1437 buys back in. They do have the Alchemist, so still good amounts of deep push.
Super's Hex so clutch in that fight right there. Not allowing Tims to get the sleep off, and then the MKB and the Weaves just started kicking in. Now they're going into the Roche pit. Meta is still active for about 10 more seconds or 15 more seconds, and they should be able to bring this Roche down. But yeah, he gets the Hex, and within 15 to 20 seconds makes almost a game-winning play out of it.
Absolutely.
That swing is almost 10,000 gold now going for LFY.
And we saw that as well. I believe that the Lotus Orb was already on the target,
yeah,
but he just goes for it anyway. He says it's all right if I self-Hex. We need to get that target locked down.
That's the thing. They do only have that one Lotus Orb. Yeah. They don't have several ones. That's what we were addressing a little bit. Several Lotus Orbs is the way to go versus Terrorblades especially. And now that there's a Hex, we're probably going to see them address that issue by picking up more of those. But here we see the Hex comes out as the Lotus Orb comes out.
Oh, and actually,
he has a Lincoln.
He has the Lincoln,
yeah,
so he doesn't care about the Lotus. Indeed, the Lincoln's still blocking that return. So indeed, perfect build from Super. I mean, if they had got that song off, it would have been an incredibly different story there.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
How many buybacks was that? That was 2. So we have the Alchemist buyback and the Jakiro buyback there. Now they're scared. Now this is where TNC is in a position where they don't... It's just that super, like, if Alchemist dies, they just lose the game.
Yeah.
So you actually buy a full BKB here just in case to be defensive. And they can't really leave their base now, which gives LFY a huge opportunity to farm the whole map, which they're not really needing too much anymore. They're all kind of hitting their critical mass point. But it is that double runes that we were mentioning. That could be the crucial thing they need. Maybe they find a clutch double damage as it is bottom, or an arcane rune, something along those lines that can help them for those type of fights. And we actually did see Monet went for the Sunder cooldown.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of, because it's that 10-second cooldown can be so absurd in those fights, especially when you're playing with Dazzle. I think that's one of the
You're always
going
to have the chance to get that second life off, unless you're getting mass silence down and such. But yeah, with the BKB and the Manta,
like if you get graved,
there should be the chance.
Yeah, if you get graved and you get your Sunder off right at the start of the grave, then you have only 5 seconds where the grave wears off, where you have a secondary Sunder. So I think that's one of the instances you just want to go
TNC
for.
with the smoke up, but Super's there with an invis. He knows what's going on. Get the Hex up immediately.
5-man coil!
Oh, and the coil onto all 5! Inflame up at the high ground. Tims gets the ultimate off. It's starting to regen the backup. The regen doing work as they're brought back up to full HP. Now the turnaround with the Ice Path. They've got the lockdown on Inflame. No BKB now, but Monet is tag teamed in. The Grave coming out rather early, but it's allowing Monet to go ham. Looks towards Raven. Raven, can he keep himself alive? There's the buyback from Inflame. He's looking to come in for the finisher. They've taken down the second. Inflame, can he fight Kuka? The sprout from Inflame, forcing him to take the long way round, buying time for Monet to force himself forward. Cuckoo's still slowed down by the Skadi, but he does get just enough far away. Can they turn back into this? They're looking for Monet. Concoction's out, will connect. Ice Bath off the back, but now with the ultimate from 1437 is bringing the Terrorblade down low. Not quite enough to finish him off though. LFY, do they really want to go in for this push? Inflame straight up on the top, making sure pressure's kept in on all sides of the map.
Meta's down. They got to reset. Wait for that to come back online. I think did DC misclick the grave there? Is that what I'd seen? I think
went very early.
He graved Monet, I believe, there instead of the Nature's Prophet who was dying. So I think that was a slight misclick there coming out from DDC in that last engagement, and it forces Inflame to buy back. So now there's that thing for TNC where if they kill the Nature's Prophet, it can be a pretty good access point for them. But
absolutely,
the rest of LFY does have buyback, and he's not as crucial as, let's say, the TNC's Alchemist.
Oh, look at this though, smoke up immediately.
Well, this is not going to be expected at all.
LFY, yeah, TNC, they're just hanging outside the base here. This is very scary. Tims does have the song, he needs to use it. Hex comes out, there's the tree bomb, there's the song. Comes through, Mono pops the BKB, roots out, but he mantas it off. Back up to full health again, the Axon doing work now, the turn, Ice Spark out onto the Terrorblade. DDC is there with the backup available, they'll force Monet back. There's the Grave, Sunder keeps Monet alive. Cuckoo forced back up to the high ground. LFY, and they do still do this, there's the disarm onto Inflame. Held back, TNC still keeping LFY away from the barracks. 10 seconds until Sam H is back in. So again, despite Monet and DDC's play, it's enough to keep them alive, but it's not enough to get the kills on TNC and actually break this mid lane.
They tried to go for a very cute play there that no one would expect. Meta's down, you're expecting LFY to completely back off, try to get a nice kill off of it, but unable to with Tims' positioning over there on the right side. So still, same thing. They need to find a way to isolate Tims, get that Hex on him so that he's unable to get those sleeps off.
These sleeps have been absolutely massive from Tims.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect positioning.
Money racking up on Super, definitely Consults, let's get the moonshot out. So already the moonshot on Monet. Does he give one to Inflame? Not one yet given to Inflame. Could be next on his shopping list. From the puck. Eyes no, it's the refresher. He goes all in. I mean, to be fair, we have seen these big Dream Coils and Waning Rifts and the Hex. If he can get this all out twice, yeah, it's going to be incredible. And Super, to be fair, you know, the panel said, and I joked about at the start, seeing him in on the puck, but he has had an incredible game. 10, 4, and 12. And these late game plays and decisions that he has made.
He's been getting super clutch silences in the back. And we saw, what, 2 or 3 4-man, 5-man coils, and then the sleeps following up. If the sleep wasn't there, those fights are absolutely one for LFY. And now, yeah, he has double Hex too, so he can choose a little bit better. And if the Lotus Orb does remove the Hex, then he can refresh and go for it again after he uses all of his other equipment and spells, of course.
LFY. Still very much ready to try and do something. Metamorphosis is back and available.
Many of the heroes approaching their level 25.
TNC's coming up, but they're raining on the high ground here. There's the jump in. Super gets immediately in with the Hex onto Tims. Removed by the Lotus Storm. Falls back, but he's stunned. He can't get off the song. Another
Coil stunned. Are they going to
get this off in time? He's trying to see, though. He can't. That's Tims down 80 seconds. They've lost 40-37 as well. TNC and down 3. Savage coming in with the epic Burrow Strike. Is it enough to get the kill in return? Looking for Monet. Raven's stolen a lot of damage here, but Monet's dead. Oh, they get the kill. They're moving on to the mid lane of Rex. Razor will buy back. So will Sam H.
There's no creeps.
But there's no backup for the rest of the 3 of them. They're trying to fight against this backdoor regen. They should slowly but surely be able to get at least one of the racks.
They're going to have to clip it and heal it up.
Are they going to be able to hold this? Sam H, him and the Burrow.
They've got a minute 20 for Alchemist buyback.
And LFY knows they've got to try and get the kills on the side. Inflame does TP in immediately with the Sandstorm. Sam H gets away. There's your fortification.
And now the glyph is gone. Alright, now the backdoor protection's gone. The creeps have gone.
And Inflame's back in immediately, looking to finish off this mid lane of racks. They're looking to potentially go for the game. They get the Hex in time.
They're going sheer forest. They're going for the game.
They're going for the finisher. 30 seconds until the Naga's back. Maybe could look for a sleep play to slow things down. But the speed that LFY are moving in means that it may be too long. 20 seconds, no Naga. They're onto the base. LFY looking to close up game 1 here. No way, by the looks of it, the TNC could slow this one down. Despite their best attempts, and indeed, GG is cool.
Wow,
LFY
what a game.
Game 1.
Holy crap.
What a start.
Okay. I think they're going to struggle a lot to really take any fights versus LFY. And I've seen Inflame on this Nature's Prophet over and over again, what he can actually do, how much he can dismantle lanes. So I'm personally liking what LFY's got and how much they can actually team fight with, and the fact that they actually have like physical damage to force it. The only physical damage from TNC at all, really, is the Broodmother to push those buildings.
I mean, as I said, you know, mentioning that mid lane and mentioning this Broodmother, how bad is it for Cuckoo that there's a Bristle there? I mean, is Cuckoo still going to do fine in lane, or could he get totally beaten out of the lane in this matchup?
It's a hard lane. It's a really good matchup for Bristleback. You always farm. They both kind of trade farm versus each other, but you have to watch your position of the quills. And Broodmother, ideally, you want to be able to have kill potential on the enemy mid laner, and you just don't versus Bristle, unless you have like some rotations coming.
Well, we'll see how TNC react to this, whether they want to send in an extra bit of help towards that mid lane, or if they do sort of go for the lane swap. But I feel like the lane swap's very unlikely, really, with Cuckoo already on that Brood, already heading towards the mid.
So also for the panel, because they were talking about this interaction between Kunkka and Sleep. The Sleep goes from 1,000 to 1,200 to 1,400, I believe it is, when I was looking at it before. And the X is only 1,000. So if you get an Aether Lens, you can actually X through 2 levels of it. but it's
very much on the edge.
It's borderline on the edge of the level 2 one. So it can happen, but that's about it.
Let's see what we have going on here. See if we have any sort of early smokes and rotations during this rune spawning, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. It's both sides seemingly securing their own. It is, by the looks of it, going to be that laning that Ake sort of mentioned on the panel, the aggressive tri-lane from TNC. They've sent Raven down towards the bottom lane.
And they're putting the bat mid versus the Bristle and putting Nature's Prophet, or the Broodmother versus the Nature's Prophet. So that's a little bit better overall. Brood will at least have a very good matchup here, and I don't think that LFY is going to expect this one coming out. They see them that mid, and now they see the bat.
Okay, they made the move. We'll see how LFY do respond.
Bristle can do fine in this too, though. You just get a magic stick brought out, and you can farm perfectly fine. Both of them probably will do exactly that, bring out wands, and we'll have some trade farm. Super just has to watch how many sticky stacks early on until he gets a couple points in that Bristle back, so he doesn't have to worry about the dive.
Yeah, so all in all, with this switch around towards the mid and the top and having this aggro try, it certainly feels like this is TNC getting the lanes that they want coming into this matchup.
Yeah, I'd say TNC win the lanes a little bit here, just because that, aggro. And Kunkka, AA, not really the best heroes in a try versus try, unless they can find people on the sides. Once they get some levels, sure, they're super strong, but they need that for certain. Once they have the Chilling Touch, once they have Cold Feet combo with X, then they have high kill threat. So if TNC can punish the first 2 waves, it's perfect, but once it gets, first 2 levels, it's perfect, but afterwards, they have to be super careful of their positioning versus this Kunkka and AA. Lots of damage coming out from the AA Chilling Touch. Yeah, and a
stray torrent setting up for the Cold Feet to kick in could certainly result in a kill. Let's try there onto Arfu. Well, to set up with the root and the hole coming through from 1437.
Exactly what they need to do.
Man down really low. Arfu tried to throw the torrent to block it, but Raven jukes it out, going in for the kill.
Oh, they get the first blood on Monet.
Yeah, he gets it first.
That's what they need to do, though. TNC needs to try to make that blow happen right at level 1, but
that must have been fractions of a second that the Monet got that in time. But he did, indeed, that extra 100 or so bonus down to the first blood. Very much welcomed here on this safe lane for LFY.
Yeah. And I don't know, I'm pretty in fear of TNC keeping that tri-lane down there now, to be quite honest with you. If they expended a lot of their resources, they used a lot of regen, they used a lot of their mana as well, and they're playing into a first blood, a Void who just got first blood. So he gets that surge of gold, he's able to pick up his wand, or pick up his stick, and he already has 6 stick charges. It's gonna be very hard to threaten this Void. They can kill the supports, but actually testing the Void's farm is very difficult for them.
Looking at the other lanes as well, we have a slight edge in the mid lane here for Samage. But I guess it's about a 5 assist, about a wave or such ahead of the Bristleback. So making use of this slightly favored advantage, but as you say, the wand is out onto Super, has 10 stick charges. Very unlikely for this Bristle to die in this matchup, just to be kept a little behind when it comes to CS. And on the top lane as well, in play, slight edge for him as well. We saw them fighting around with sentries down and such, but the quicker D ward was out from Cuckoo.
The nice thing is you can always just TP out because there's no stun from the Broodmother, but Brood can overwhelm at one point with too many Spiderlings, and you have to play pretty fearful on the Nature's Prophet. I don't really see this matchup happen too often. It's been a very long time since I see a Nature's Prophet versus Brood.
Bottom lane again. Down to Arfu, just holding him at bay though. And to bring Monet down low. To still have the Salve, 8 stick charges still being saved up on the Void. So very hard really for any of the games, any of the lanes to get the kills early on. So everyone has potential to turn, potential to hit back.
I'd say after the first blood, LFY is leading quite a decent margin. They're not really slowing down the Void, which is what they're trying for.
There we go again. They are going to make the jump in onto DDC, getting nuked down low by the Purifying Flames. Raven picks up the kill. Monet has jumped forward. He's looking for 1437. A bash would do it. So in a time walk under the tower will secure the finisher. Raven punished this. It doesn't look like Ian will have to let it go. So again, just the 1-for-1 trade.
Flame TP's in though, and they're actually making the lane adjustment. They don't feel like Bristle wants to be versus the bat at this point. They want to put the Fury on mid, perhaps, or Nature's Prophet mid. I'm gonna say Fury in a lot. Just putting that out there.
Super up towards the top lane, and this is gonna mean no space for Sam. But actually, Cuckoo.
They're moving the lanes.
Yeah, they're moving it in response. TNC wanting to make sure that they can keep tabs on Super's Bristle by having the bat against him rather than this Broodmother. See what the call is from LFY if they want to make the move again, but TNC just doing their best to keep a step ahead in terms of the lane matchups.
I love when these kind of lane swaps happen. I hope another one happens. I like when we just see people like TPing back and forth and everyone's like following around. It just looks fun.
It becomes very chaotic between the sides.
Yeah.
And farm for both the safe laners, Raven.
He's still farming on the Nog at least.
Him and Monet on the same track at the moment. Pretty much equal in experience and CS. Both getting what they came for down in this bottom lane, which maybe is not as good of a sign for TNC. Perhaps they were expecting to be able to slow down this Void a little bit more than they are. But at the moment, as it has been, Monet, he's got himself involved in 2 kills.
He's got Treads, Orb of Venom. He's perfectly fine with what's going on here. They're making a committed play onto here, but Inflame is keeping into the back for TNC.
Yeah, they're going to look to try and turn their LFY Sprout out, but immediately...
The blocks?
Trying to make that cold feet proc, but can't quite get enough of the block stop. But we saw how close it was there. You know, if they are able to achieve that sort of a play.
And how much damage comes out. Like, as soon as Inflame TPs, you see DDC throws the Chilling Touch on him for that bonus damage. But now it's 5 minutes in. If Inflame wants to, he can try to siege a bit with this Catapult Wave, but he doesn't want to split the 4-way experience. Wants to be efficient with his resources.
And they move Cuckoo down here as well. You know, wherever the pressure is, they try and get the Broom Over in that lane to sort of slow it down.
They might be able to get Super here mid. He's pretty far out, and they have Lasso on Sam H.
Yeah, they've certainly got their reposition. He's already got 2 stacks upon him. There's the drag back. At the same time, Cuckoo actually gets a solo kill by the looks of it down on the Kunkka as well. Gets the action done, so kill in the mid lane, a freebie for Cuckoo down bottom. I'm not quite sure how he got away with that, with still with the AA and the Void in the neighborhood, but must have just overwhelmed him with the spiders, as you talked about.
They don't really have good ways to deal with the Brood besides the Bristle still at this point. Early levels, these Spiderlings, AA and Kunkka are super susceptible to dying to them just if they step out of position. And now he's level 6, so the spiders are starting to add up, and the damage is pretty absurd versus these low armor heroes like the AA.
Sam H just on the search to see if there's any sort of stacks being created for LFY. He'll get his eyes onto DDC though. In fact, with the Brave and Naga being in the neighborhood, they can go for this one. Money's going to try and come in to slow them down. The Torrent will connect.
With the Nature's Prophet ult.
And that's going to bring him down. The Nature's Wrath doing huge amounts. DDC actually ends up surviving as he gets himself away. They'll try and trap Raven with the Sprout, but he cuts himself out. So nice turnaround there from LFY. And again, Cuckoo says, you want to go to that lane? I'll come to that lane as well. This spooky spider trying to do his best to instill himself in the nightmares of LFY.
Perfect by Inflame though, like that's why we see him decide not to go for that tower pressure, right? He goes to the jungle so he can make sure he gets that level 6 at a very early time to get involved with that Wrath of Nature. Because the damage on it early on, it's very unexpected. People always forget about that Nature's Prophet ultimate bouncing around right around that 7-minute or 6-minute period. Tims, they've pretty much parked him out toward that top lane for the time being to farm, while everybody else is kind of making the moves around the map. Apu wants to punish though. The Dust is online with the Sentries, gets the Torrent connection too.
Does still have the Burrow Strike. As long as he can save it until after the X-Mark bring back, he may have a chance here. Holds onto it, there he goes.
He's TPing out.
And he should make it. No way without the Torrent and the X-Mark to hold him back. So nice little play there to get Tims out of it.
But they force him completely out of the lane, and that lead gives Inflame a completely free one. And yeah, Sankey's not farming during that.
And Cuckoo's moving again. I mean, he made the move all the way towards the mid lane. Now he's back down towards the bottom. He's going to look to put some pressure on Monet. Has still got a fair amount of spiders.
It's scary. Like, honestly, Cuckoo's making a lot of moves around. He can get a kill and stuff, but his net worth is starting to suffer because of how much he has to move around. It's only 2,800 net worth. Of course, it's the same as the Nature's Prophet, but this was the last pick Brood. You know, this is supposed to be like last pick Brood. This is the game winner, and it's not really having that effect so far in the laning phase.
Top lane. Tims towards farming up that blink. We are going to see the setup there by the Torrent.
They've got Wrath of Nature this time, and they know the TP is still on cooldown for
Still
Tims.
a tricky one to catch.
Yeah.
Arfu, he did have the X-Mark, but of course wouldn't have had the secondary Torrent to combo it with.
Scared to dive. Diving under towers, their damage isn't really that great, so they got to just wait it out. Find a better opportunity for that one. But yeah, LFY, going out of the laning phase, their team fight is way stronger than TNC. TNC wants to split up the map and get pickoffs, and have the Broodmother kind of dominate the lane while the rest of them fight elsewhere, and use the Naga Sleep to avoid those fights. But it's very hard for them to avoid fights with the momentum that LFY will be gaining once they've got the Vanguard on the Bristle to force buildings.
Sam H, just seeing what he can do here, has found himself a double stack.
Oh, convenient. Prowlers.
Clear it up. I mean, this is going to put him very close to that Blink Dagger. 1,600 at the moment. It's going to get them large camp as well by the looks of it.
The Dream Creeps, the Ancient Prowlers, are so amazing for Batrider and like Shadow Fiend, like these heroes that farm with magic damage. And getting an Arcane Rune, he's going to Firefly up again in no time to be able to continue that. And like you said, yeah, Blink going to be at a very good time. So they can maybe play around that one and try to get some pickoffs onto the Nature's Prophet or the Void. The Bristle's starting to get pretty tanky though.
Arfu up top, looking to set up, does get the X mark into the Torrent, onto Tims. He will go for the Sandstorm, but the dust is out. Presence of Inflame and DDC. And more than enough damage there with the Chilling Touch to claim Tim's life.
Monet just wants to have no business with a Broodmother. Moves out of that bottom lane. It's starting to become overwhelming with the amount of spiders. And Kuko's going to be able to pressure that tower quite a lot. He's actually going to kill this bottom tower super quickly with that Brood. And now maybe they try to make a move with the Chrono, but they want to instead do their own pressure at the same time. How's our levels looking on supports? We're 4 and 4 on Oracle and Kunkka, and Senki AA are both level 5. So they're doing, as expected, the Tome is now online for the 10-minute mark for those 6s.
Super trying to farm out some of the spiders here, but don't quite get the finishing Quill Spray Splurt to do so. Room alive, mid lane, Monet, manning up onto 1437, not quite finding the bashes though. Does have this Chrono, he sees a chance to finish off a kill. And Inflame with the drums, definitely a pickup that can help enable the Void. You know, get that Chrono, get the Natures in, pop the drums charge.
It's just such a good item on Nature's Prophet.
Yeah. Right, making a bit of a try here, but it's going to turn. And with the disarm, can they actually keep Kuku alive? Looks like they can. Very nicely done. The Chrono baited out, and TNC lose nothing.
2 minutes, no Chrono. But what can they make of it? They have to use the Batrider Lasso. He's going to have Blink Dagger soon. They can try to make a play around that one.
Super trying to keep control of Sam H down at the bottom lane. Super still at the top of the net worth. Now moving in, Sam H does need help. In fact, Super's going to be the one to tell. Inflame TP's in. Firefly's not enough to get Sam H out of there. Can TNC punish LFY for diving this deep? That's the question.
Bristle's very tanky.
He's with this Vanguard and with this cloak. He's not an easy takedown, and he's got the presence of Arfu. They're making their way back out. 1437's there, but LFY, they have the numbers. They're just going to look towards the Oracle, try and make a go. He has got the Shrine Heal. Raven coming in with the sleep. But TNC, can they really actually do this? They've got to sleep and get out. They cannot fight LFY around this Bristle, around this point. Indeed, they just have to leave it be, and if anything, potentially let LFY take this tower. They've got Sam H coming back in. Was it they could do anything about this, get some sort of a grab? They have the root onto the Bristle. He's the hardest target to go on. They are going to try and make
They've got the X.
As they drain back, but indeed, Arfu breaks it with the X, meaning the Tim's 10% are not quite in range. Now they get back in, but Tim, he's going to pop. This is Bristle back getting to his full potential. The false promise.
Beautiful, but
very nicely done by 1437, and with the heal, that should be enough to keep Tim's alive. Very clutch save there from the Oracle. They do bring down Super, that big old kill. That's given the money for Sam to finish off the Blink Dagger. Very nicely done there.
Defending that tower too, that early tier 1.
Maybe see if they can get anything straight off the back of it. Looking towards Arfu, but see. Oh, DDC, got a bit of a spider problem.
Oh, the Centaur stun. Hits Kuku. Trying to help out DDC.
Tim's there as well. Maybe they could look to try and catching out Mono in the mid lane. He is in the webs.
They have a lot of burst.
They are going to try and close it in. At the same time, bottom lane Sama, he did get the kill on Arfu, so they get the kill top. They get the pick off bottom. Now Super, sort of on his own here. He's stuck in the Firefly. Same time, a lot of Quill Spray stacks building up onto the members of TNC, so they have to be careful. Raven will hold back the Bristle with the net. And he will continue to be chased. I mean, Super knows that there's no Shrine here, as it's already been used. He's going to dive in for this one.
He's straight committing. Inflame's still not TPing in,
3 Quill Spray stacks on Raven. I don't know, can 1437 save this? He hasn't quite got false promise, I don't think. He's got the Fate's Edict of the Purifying Flames, trying to heal him back up. And maybe Super's now overstepped the mark. He gets Flame broken back. Stick charges are used. Purifying Flames, nuking him down low. But 1437 didn't quite have the mana to purge it back off. So Super's only going to get healed up from this. Kuku coming in with the rotation. The boat in onto the spiders. It's not going to connect. Monet does find the Chrono onto Kuku. The bash there as well. They'll bring down Brood as well.
Those are huge kills there. Super just with no fear whatsoever. He knows his team is going to be coming for the backup eventually. And this is the problem we're talking about.
Yeah.
This Bristleback with the Vanguard. He's building toward the hood as well to deal with that heavy magic damage that TNC does have. And then after that, there is really limited chances for them to kill this Bristle.
Yeah, the damage certainly lacking from TNC at this stage of the game in comparison to what you need to have a chance of bringing down a Bristle. Side, Tims. Playing around with DDC. LFY relatively low. DDC may just get taken down here, in fact. He's going to throw back an Ice Blast. But
the Sun actually goes up the mark.
He misses the Poro Strike, and for that, Tims is paying with his life. The cold feet kicks in. DDC is the one to take the kill.
And they want to keep going.
They're looking for the blind torrent, won't quite get it. Jump forward for Samich with the lasso into the Purifying Flames. They get Arfu in return. But now, Super, he's got a hook complete. This Bristle is going to be a massive issue, especially considering the way that LFY are playing, grouping up as a team, or even just, letting Super enter the fights, hang around for 10 seconds, waiting for the backup. There's just very little chance that TNC can actually kill Super at this stage of the game.
They're trying to make, they're trying to fight and make space as much as possible for Raven. He is getting closer and closer toward that Radiance, 3,400 gold. So that's going to help a bit, but he's still very squishy and they're still very susceptible to the team fight of LFY.
Seeing the build as well from Cuckoo this game is the he's going phase straight into the Solar Crest, right?
That's the build we saw Matu doing, yeah. Just the sheer damage that you can do with the Spiderlings. You can not only increase your farm rate, it gives you mana regen. It's just a really good item choice.
I mean, absolutely. If he gets himself on either Arfu or TDC, very little they can do to give him a life. I mean, we're going to see him make a bit of a go now. Just ready with the Medallion and the Spiders, bringing Arfu down very quickly.
Reluctant to commit, though.
Yeah, a little scared about fighting around this tier 1 tower towards the mid lane. At the moment, members of LFY closer towards that top tier 2. Trying to see if they can get the push on there. Monet. The timing is going to be on the chrono. Yes, back just up in 3 seconds. So they want to try and do something with this Faceless Void. As the Mask of Madness, the build from him by the looks of it, going to be straight into the Maelstrom. And then the Lincolnsville. And they'll go for this here. Pushing in on the top lane. Again, another very tricky hold for TNC to even try and attempt against this Chronosphere. So by the looks of it, they will just let it go. But this is scary now. LFY 16 minutes in, really getting some traction, taking these objectives. And TNC not finding towers in return. Definitely the biggest trade-off being the fact they're getting farmed.
Oh, they actually...
Well, then Argo, yeah, Arfu whiffing the combo there. Looks like he went for the blind torrent boat, didn't quite have the X-Mark backup to make the play in terms of control. But yeah, this is the thing. TNC all in all, the trade is that they are getting this farm on Raven. He has got that relic. He's halfway through the recipe gold. They're going to make an attempt on Super, but I don't know if they get away with this. They're going in with the they cannot kill this man. Backup is there now in the form of Arthur in Flame, and they're just going to look to turn. The dust is out onto Tims. He's sprouted up. Can't get himself out of this one. He's got the Poro Strike. Super continue to move forward. A couple of Quill Sprays will do it. No, just the one actually. Super bursts him down.
That's their lasso and their epicenter committal to. That's their big team fight slash pickoff heroes, and they barely even drop him below half life.
Definitely a mistake for TNC to try and make that play. They can't afford to do that, especially that close to a tier 2 tower.
And making these mistakes is super crucial. Like these mistakes is what costs you the game. Their Nature's Prophet's able to claim a tier 2. The Void is just farming in all the meanwhile. They need to get kills in with those type of double ult committals. Super now, looking for Sam H, actually forces him just to TP out bottom.
Cuckoo again, hands on to Monet.
You see the itemization coming out from LFY.
Monet just goes for them, jumps in. Absolutely no messing around, and with the Ice Blast coming through as well as the big old shark, there's no hope for Cuckoo. And TNC may be losing their cool a little bit here as LFY are getting some very easy pickoffs.
Still only a slight lead for them, but still LFY is looking really strong with their 5-man.
There is that Radiance though. So it's all about how much TNC can rely on the core Naga Siren to pull them through this game.
Bottom lane looks like they're going for Sam H here. With the Wrath of Nature, the X-Play coming out, Sam H is in deep trouble here.
Again, it's combo from Arfu.
And it's going to lead into a tower as well.
Maybe even more with Inflame in the neighborhood.
Yeah, maybe they go for 2 here. They could. There is a sleep that is still up though, so maybe they're a little bit afraid of that because they don't have chrono. But they want to at least threaten a bit, force some reaction.
Link Dagger now picked up by Tims, so they do have that extra potential to jump in and maybe even jump around Super, get to the back lines. As Super at the moment is not the target you want to be going on.
Well, look how far back they are. They're already prepared. The Illusion is kind of scouting out the AA, so they're trying to commit here for it. Maybe they can force all the TPs and try to isolate Super, but no, it's getting too far away at this point now. So yeah, look, the 3 cores on the side of LFY, they're all itemizing toward being these late game kind of carry heroes. We see Nature's Prophet went for the Shadow Blade, going for the Orchid. We see the Void, we already mentioned that one. Mask of Madness into Linken's Maelstrom. He's the one Void, of course. And then we see Super. Got the Radiance queued up. Yep. That's going to be the big one to kind of match.
Top lane, they do manage to find one, and they have the Epicenter on the lasso, but he's still going to get the chance to
and he's
walk out.
fine. That's twice now the lasso on Epicenter.
It's not enough to take down TNC's cores. It really isn't.
Or LFY's, yeah.
It's going to be spotted out there again. They've got the X-Mark drop back. Actually,
it doesn't miss. It doesn't hit again.
The timing there. Not quite there with the combo this time around, Arfu, and that is going to mean that Cuckoo gets away with his life intact. Did have 1437 in the neighborhood, so maybe even if they got the trap, he would have been there with a false promise save, but still.
Rare mistakes coming out from both Afu and from Tim's this game.
Under attack.
How's Super doing towards his relic? Very close.
Very close.
Very close to having that done on this bristle as well.
3K gold lead now going their way.
Definitely still with the edge of this game, and definitely still the issue being that we're seeing Super and Monet being attempted upon with these ganks, these takedowns, but
unable to get caught. That's pre-Lincoln's.
Can't quite do it.
That's pre-Lincoln's Void, and they can't even bring him down. When he's got Lincoln's, I don't see how they actually get him unless they've got like 3 or 4 hero committal.
Really is the problem here for TNC. They need time, they need space for Raven.
LFY seems very content with this pace of the game too. They're not trying to like force too much action. Even when Chrono is up, they're not really trying to force anything to happen. They're just like, let it come to us. Let the kills naturally happen when TNC tries to go on the aggressive. Look where Monet's just been perched up. I think he's been up here for the last like 4 minutes just farming these creep waves and this enemy jungle.
I mean, yeah, this is crazy farm for him. 21 minutes, he nearly has that Lincoln's on top of the Mask of Madness. And as you said, with that as well, how do TNC even think about bringing down this Void?
They spot. They look like they know where Cuckoo is. They actually get the dust on him too. And the Blind Torrent.
Blind Torrent does connect this time round. The boat flying in with the X-Mark bring back. There's no escape for the Spider. LFY.
Apu's just warming up.
Plays like that. Definitely impressing. Top lane TNC. They are going to try for this. I mean, do they get away with it? I feel it's going to be hard. He drops the Chrono.
It actually gets the bat.
It does indeed. It stops the bat right on the very tip of it. And I mean, it's enough to hold the back. But Monet turns. He time walked in aggressively there.
The Conquer Torrent actually.
Oh,
they actually get the courier from him
well.
Again, just like last game. So they actually, a cool thing that LFY did is, you know, they're playing versus a Broodmother, so they actually defensively warded their high ground. I didn't really notice that one too.
I mean, look at this. Monet is just forcing this 3-man gank that came in for him all the way back to their base.
No fear.
Even without Chrono, just time walking towards them, terrifying TNC.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Radiance pretty much there for Super. 300 gold, and he has it. A lot of catching up that TNC need to do. Raven nearly has the bots, but...
How do they kill this Bristle? How do they kill the Void? Both these two guys are super durable now, and they have the exact things that they need to deal with TNC's aggression. And with that Radiance, that's going to be their timing. Maybe they can just go into the Roche pit with that LFY. With the Chronosphere once it's back up.
TNC are trying to make a move again towards this mid lane. Inflame has a double damage as well. Just a few seconds left on it though. Doesn't look like he will get the chance to make use of it. TNC not quite jumping in. And Inflame up top, wow. Sees Raven. Raven looks to get himself out of the tree line.
Damage with the instant TP and the sleep coming out.
I'm going to look to try and punish Inflame.
Do they ever reveal though? He's got a Shadow Blade. I don't think they ever reveal. He's gone.
Oh dear, oh dear. LFY.
But they seem to kind of know he's here. Okay, good. Gets the TP out. Bit scary, but
this
not having dust, not having anyone, not having either of those heroes with the reveal picked up there.
Not feeling like the TNC that we saw in game 1.
No, definitely not. And he's had the Shadow Blade for quite a long time, so.
Maybe it's the draft, maybe it's just the flow of the game. I mean, LFY themselves, this decision to have Super on the Bristle has definitely worked out massively. Monet up top.
They know Raven's got no sleep top too.
Get this Chrono there with the Sprout cut down. That should buy time for Monet to close the gap, and indeed drops the Chrono. Ice Blast coming in. They do have a false promise. Do they have the heal to offset it though? He's still going to have that debuff on him, so he can't quite heal all the way up. We'll see if he pops. Nope. He can maybe save, yeah, with that Fate's Edict blocking the magic damage. Raven will be kept alive. So they do manage to protect their Naga, which is, you know, TNC have to do everything in their power to make sure that Raven doesn't get bullied now, as he really is their only hope of having this strong core that can take them to the later portions of the game.
Looking for the Torrent again. He gets the dust off now, and Kuku looks to be in a lot of
the
trouble.
X-Mark into the boat. LFY, Monet, Super, Inflame surrounding the Spider, taking another down. 5k gold lead now for LFY.
TNC are smoked up. They were looking to try to get on the aggressive play here instantly when the chrono was down, but just slightly too late. They're trying to position now around Raven, but in goes LFY into that Roche pit, and there is no way that TNC can contest this one. They are drawing the lines though, but it's gonna die way too fast.
It's a completed Orchid on Inflame as well. And indeed, the Roshan's gonna be gone. LFY claim the Aegis into the hands of Super. I mean, we've already seen how they struggled to kill him once, killing him twice, definitely an impossible affair that TNC are going to be forced to try and tackle somehow once LFY start pushing down the lanes.
LFY plays super well around the Nature's Prophet. Just the way that he split pushes and always helps them like take fights on their own accord. It's amazing. Like they always have two lanes pretty much pushed in, even though TNC does have good ways to kind of react for it. They have good heroes to kind of force the lanes out with the Naga and with the Sanking, but every time Sanking shows, they know that the gank's not happening, and then Inflame just goes back top and continues that push up. So it's really hard for TNC to find those opportunities. And also, they can't group up either because of the nature of their lineup. They have a Broodmother, they have a Naga Siren. They can't team fight versus LFY. They need to find number advantages in those instances.
Now making this long smoke movement up towards the top lane, trying to catch off Inflame. So if they get away with this, I mean, he's still got the Shadow Blade. Of course, to still TP his way out. They are getting close. Inflame is sticking around.
They've got reveal
they
this
have
time.
got the reveal this time, indeed. Jump forward with the dust, lasso. They'll hold him back. That's a very, very much needed kill here for TNC as they finally catch out the Nature's Prophet.
Heavy committal though. They commit 3 heroes up there with the smoke, and in the meanwhile, Bristleback's farming bottom, Void's farming mid, and speaking of which, LFY are also smoked up, looking for a play. We do have the Aether Lens as well picked up on Afu, so he does have that extra cast range for his spells. So he can cast the Torrent and the X. The Torrent, you can actually cancel majority of the...
Oh, Cuckoo, he is going to walk into the 3 of them there. He does do have the detection. They dust him up, and with the freeze connect, they will come with the Burrow Strike, but indeed the Link is there blocking the Burrow Strike. Monet will survive and still be able to get the kill.
They're
Now
gonna lose a second.
Tim's saved there just in time by the false promise. 1437 trying to allow Tim's to get out of there, but 1437 will pay with his life. Tim's up to the high ground with the Burrow Strike.
Oh, 20
Will
HP.
just survive.
Can't believe he survived there.
1437 making some very big plays. They do still have Chrono on Monet though. This is LFY killing 2, forcing these ultimates out, and still having potential to move in for more. Straight down to the bottom lane, they'll claim the tier 2.
He held the chrono, that's the important thing, the whole time. Monet did have it.
Still got it. So if they find a chance to use it, I mean, still not too many reasons for LFY to hold back too much with this sort of pace that they're setting. Even still working his way towards the Manta style. I mean, all things said, you know, considering the pressure that LFY put on, Raven's still doing a great job in terms of finding the farm. You know, it's up there, we're pretty much on par with the cause, other than Super, who really is starting to break ahead, of course, with his own radiance. But Raven, he's not getting totally shut down.
No. The thing is that ideally when you're playing like this, oh, they actually able to find 1437 out of the base.
If there's any saving him, Monet's there. If anyone comes in with backup, he's got the chrono to spare, and he doesn't need it yet again. Just finding these pickoffs.
Such far range for them to find that catch with that Aether Lens Kunkka.
Still with that Aegis, they very well maybe looking to go Tigrane again. Another catch from Afu. X-Marked onto Sam. Just managed to force himself away from the Ice Blast.
Super doesn't care.
Diving indeed.
And the chrono.
Drops the chrono onto Raven. They've caught the Naga. Burrow Strike comes in from Tim's, trying to hold them back, but Raven's down
and
for 50 seconds. Diving indeed. Raven will buy back, but TNC losing hero after hero. Cuckoo comes in with his BKB. Trying to see if he can bring anyone down in return. 1437 is on his way back, but they're sticking around. They are getting rather low, Afu and Super. Afu turns straight towards the Oracle, cuts him down with his blade. Sleeps there from Raven. But of course, Super still has that Aegis. He may be low, but there's, by the looks of it, no chance they can even kill him down. Cuckoo's just turned up.
That might just be it here.
TNC losing 4, none of them with buyback available. We'll see if they hold on here for one more attempt. They are fairly short death timers. They're
just too incredibly durable, and the catch range from Afu is just way too far. They're able to chase always, and with this frontline bristleback, he just doesn't care because he has the lifesteal as well as Radiance, Hood, Vanguard. They're able to siege. First racks down, going for the secondary one. 30 seconds until Bruno.
Oh, look at this. Arfu goes back to base. Is the Mango delivery service he's picked up to. Has he got them still in his stash? I definitely saw him pick up a couple.
He used them right away to be.
Oh, he used them himself. Okay, no mangoes for anyone else. Just for him. Yeah, keeping himself topped up immediately, making sure they can stick around to finish the game. Ice Blast looking to connect onto Raven. False Promise a little early, but just to make sure they can save it. Tim's jumps in with the FB. They do have the control of the ball. They bring Monet down.
Yeah, Monet.
That's a big kill, but Tim's will pay with his life. Cuckoo's now back up. Samage trying to find DDC, but DDC has the Hood. He can't even kill the AA. They will disarm the Prism, but the Quill Spray stats continue to build up. They have managed to find AA. Cuckoo manning up towards Inflame. Doesn't quite get him as Inflame goes for the BKB TP out, turning his attention now towards Arfu. With the Solar Crest, they do have enough damage to find the Kunkka. So TNC do get kills, but again, it's costing them so much. They lose 3 heroes themselves. They keep the bottom melee racks alive.
Naga dieback.
Yep.
But they do keep them, at least they keep the melee racks alive, but
they're still in the game, but only just. And it really is, you know, LFY definitely with a sensation that they have to just rinse and repeat that push once more and go for it.
Yeah, TNC are in the game, but by most means are quite out of it. They can try to still keep on taking the fights, try to push these 2 side lanes out, but that five man, when LFY groups up and starts that ball up, it's just no way for TNC to really respond when all their ultimates are up. Monet now, Chronosphere is going to be up when he's alive. And that was everything. That was like the perfect scenario for TNC to get that jump. It's like Monet was like a little bit low on life. They break the Lincolns, and then they get the lasso epicenter. Perfect follow-up with Cuckoo in the back lines. So it's like perfect case scenarios. Now they're able to claim, LFY able to claim some shrines, reset themselves, continue that aggression.
Oh, and Cuckoo is being hunted. Do they have the catch to get him? Dust is out upon him. He does have the BKB, will pop it straight away. No messing. Knows that he can't afford to be caught out outside the base as he'll head his way back up to the high ground. Same time up top, they've actually found Inflame, but he's immediately BKBs, TP's out.
And that was the lasso committal.
Now Samage could be in trouble. They look for the blind torrent. Samage will be able to force himself back to safety, and with the blink just out of range of the Shiva's guard, will get himself back home. Obviously keeping everyone alive. Yeah, they're quite definitely ready to go down mid. They themselves with all the ultimates that they require. Chronosphere, Ice Blast, Nature's Wrath.
You see Tims and Raven are just desperate to push out those side lanes as far as possible.
Look at the super is just forcing them back to the base. Raven going for the TP back to join the rest of them. Arfu is sort of spotted out here by Cuckoo on the side of it, but he's got to be careful. BKB not quite ready again for him. Has the spiders upon him, but LFY take the second melee racks down on this bottom lane. And they're jumping forward. Chrono at the ready. They'll look for the courier. They do get it. No, they don't. The
courier's alive.
Oh, the courier lives. Monet comes in with a chrono onto Cuckoo. Cuckoo is saved just in time by 1437 with a false promise. They have the song trying to get the spider out of there. It will work for now, but it looks like 1437 is going to pay off his life. He has the Glimmer Cape, but Super's got the vision with the sentry down on the floor. Moves in, takes down the Oracle. TNC being forced back. Raven trying to hold Super away from TNC. They get the connection. Torrents there onto Tim, sanking down as well. 2 down without buyback once again on TNC.
They're going for that last racks now.
They can get DDC. Cuckoo turning towards him. Solar Crest down and puts the BKB. Really wants this AA kill. Will get it. It is 1 down, but at the same time, Raven going for the TP out. He's actually going to make it back to base by the looks of it. They've got the lasso onto the Kunkka, but the damage is too much for Super. The Quill Spray is building up. Cuckoo down as well. GG is cool. And it looks like LFY were only warming up in game 1. Game 2, a very, very convincing victory there for the side of LGD Forever Young. 28-15, 33 minutes in 22k net worth lead. And with the draft and the start to this game that TNC had, there never really was any hope of them bringing it back.